Hey, I'm Gerald. This is Terry. This is Shane. We're three brothers together. We're up to the point now we've removed all of the shutters. So now, while it's easy, rather than having to do all of it off of ladders, we're going to take off the rest of our siding up to the wall framing level. And then we'll proceed up from off the top of the ceiling joist to remove the rest of the gable. So we always have a platform to work off of. Sometimes working off the ladders and trying to do all this at one time is just so ridiculous. You just need to use some common sense about how you go about it. So we're going to proceed to take off all the siding as high as we can reach. We'll use our step horses over a ladder, and they're easy, they're light. If you've never got a set of these, you can buy those for about $300 or so a set. They're light, they fold up, and they're more stable than most step ladders that you're going to find on the market. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be pulling the siding down up to the framing level, which is going to be at 8 foot. And after we get that off, then we'll proceed to start framing walls then. Okay, we've measured and for our walls the thickness of them. We're going to use 2x4s to frame this addition. And you can come right here, you can see that we have to measure back 4 inches. Now your 2x4 is only 3.5. Bring that plate right there, Terry. Just, no, the 2x4. This is why you measure back 4 inches. Now we're going to put this right on the line. Okay, this is on the chalk line right here, and this is going to leave you a 1/2 inch ledge. So instead of measuring back off the outside 3.5, the thickness of the 2x4, you measure back 4 inches. That allows enough room for your 7/16 OSB to sit on. It gives you a landing there, if you will, a starting point. So we want to snap a line all the way through. I've already got it marked out all the way around. Now I've got my next 4 inches from the outside of this rim joist. This is a rim joist here. So I've measured 4 inches from the outside of the rim joist back, made a mark on both ends. We're going to snap a line because we want our walls to be good and straight. Now we go to the other end and get that one. Now, another thing I want to show you, always you pull out a chalk line, instead of pulling the line tight by holding onto the chalk line, you never do that. You pull your string down in the reel, cause your reel to hang up. So you always want to wrap it around your finger once like that, put your thumb on it, pull it good and tight. The tighter the better. That way when you snap your line's nice and true, straight. Layout procedure for this wall is the same as it was for the subfloor. 16 inches on center from one end to the other. Just remember that you want your studs to stand exactly over top of your subfloor and over top of the joist underneath it. That brings all the strength of the structure down on each member and transfers that load evenly across the span. Remember that when you're laying out your wall, you need to start on the same end as when you laid out your floor joist. Now the guys are shooting this together with 3-inch screws, 3.5 to be more direct. We chose to use screws over nails simply because they have a greater grip capacity and pull those structural members together more tightly, and there's no chance of it backing off later as this building goes up. So you just take your time, do good work, use screws or nails. That all depends on you. Okay, typically we would have used number 16 coated nails and used hammers and drove this together. But for the sake of strength, I prefer the screws on a small job. And this is a very small job, and it's all family, and so this is going to work well. So we framed this on 6-inch center, so my stud is coming down directly over my joist in every location, over my joist. So we got down to here and we added a T. This is a typical construction framing T like it's normally used in every house that you build for a wall partition. Now we're going to just create one big closet here, but in time we may want to come back and subdivide this closet, and so we're making preparations for that as we go, even though we're not going to be adding that partition at this point. So we've added the T anyway, just for future use possibly. So we've come all the way, breaking our studs, and got our long wall, and our wall is exactly 1 inch less than 16 because we have to have a ledge for our OSB 7/16 boxing or plywood. So we're 1/2 inch short on this side, 1/2 inch short on that side. That makes up the full inch. So this is the way you start. Now typically we would make a corner by adding a 2x4. Typically you add a 2x4 spacer here, you pull in a full stud, and that makes up a corner typically. But we're going to do what's called a California corner. A California corner requires us to just put a stud on the inside of this for a nailer. It allows us to get insulation back into this corner. Now on a typical corner where you have a stacked stud operation like that right there, you lose this area here because your inside wall covers it up. And the only way to insulate that is to insulate it before you actually put the boxing on the wall. So rather than do that, we're going to use what I call is a California corner, and we're going to put that on the inside, which will allow us to get, when we come on the inside to insulate, to put that insulation all the way back here on this right here and make this little room or this closet more efficient to heat and cool. Closets take up heating and HVAC, all that kind of thing. They require just as much as the rest of the house. So that's the idea. It's the reason our corners doesn't look like they typically do. So we're going to lay out a wall here for each end, and we'll frame them up one at a time, stand them. We'll more than likely have to frame these on the ground because we're not going to be able to stand the wall like we normally would because of the brick mold. That's the trim around the windows. It's going to hinder us there. So we're just going to frame the wall out here on the ground, and we'll proceed that way. Okay, so that's next. In our excitement to get the walls and the ends framed, we forgot to turn the blasted camera on. Well, so what we have here is just a photograph. But nevertheless, the framing went just exactly like the end wall that you saw us frame. It went up without a hitch, and it fit really well. Matter of fact, both sides measured out exactly the same. And when we set them up there, they went in there really snug, and I was very happy with that. It's important when you frame these additions that all of your members are all the same length, especially when you're talking about width and length. So it went well, and we were all very happy with it. So this concludes day one. We've been very fortunate that everything's went really, really well. We're really close for ceiling joists and rafters and boxing and insulation, both for the subfloor, the ceiling, and the walls. And another day is going to put us nearly ready. We'll be ready for roofing metal by the end of the next day. So 2 days work, something that you can do right at home. You can watch these segments of the process of building this walk-in closet, and the same thing would apply to any size room that you would want to add to a home or to a shed. So this is just another situation where brothers get together and do the work themselves.